Alright guys, this is Twitch TV, Unsainted TV, better known as just Unsainted TV. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make money on Resort, or at least if not how to make money, I'm going to explain things about some spawns, some areas where people are commonly at, and also keys that you should have or need, and the wings of each area of the resort. So let's get started. I'm just going to start by running to the resort, but I will say we are on the east wing side of the resort. There's sometimes a spawn over here, a spawn where I just spawned, and a spawn over there at the beach behind the blue fence. Oftentimes when you're running to the resort on this side, you're better off just running straight to the resort. You're stopping and trying to look for people and stuff. It's just it's cancer. You're not going to find them. They have so many different areas they can go. You're trying to rush to the resort on this side because there's a what's called God spawn up in that area. They spawn really close to the resort, so you're trying to get in there. If you're going for like lead X's and stuff, you're trying to get in there long before he gets in there, or at least get in there before he can get to all the rooms, so you can kill him. I do want to apologize if you can hear my keyboard clicking. It's I got my microphone moved really close to my mouth here, so it's right above my keyboard. And my keyboard is a clicky razor one that is going to be swapped out very soon. So, while I gain some energy, I guess I can explain all the keys here, or at least you can take a screenshot. These are all the keys that I use. I'll explain a little bit about my run. When I do this, I typically get a lead X. As far as this is January 16th. As far as January 16th is concerned, I usually get about one lead X every 7 runs. Pro kill medallion once every 6 runs. Graphics card once every 6 runs. High-end med stuff like Grizzlies once every 5-6 runs. Things like that. Pretty much factoring it all in, I usually leave with about, on a bad run, 200 to 300k worth of gear, depending on the backpack that you're going to carry. If I obviously do really well, I've gotten 2 lead X's before in one run, which was pretty cool. You know, I left with about 4 million worth of gear total. And that kind of stuff happens more often than you think, as long as you're doing the runs. I'm in offline mode right now, so I'm not worried about finding people. I'm just trying to explain everything to you. And maybe there's some rooms that I don't have keys to, and I just don't realize that the better stuff spawns in those rooms. I personally am just showing you a pathing line that I take when I run Shoreline, because it seems to work. I have a pathing line for each wing, and it seems to work where I usually don't expose myself to too much death, and I typically get out with pretty good loot. I know there's going to be a lot of areas that I'm not going to be looting, and somebody's going to be saying, well, you can go into that room and find this, or you can go in here and find that. And I get it, and I have reasoning behind almost every room, and the reason why I don't go in them is oftentimes you leave yourself trapped or exposed while you're trying to loot for the value of the loot you're looking for. So for me, this is the best run or the best line that you possibly can take. That's how I see it. So starting with walking up the rocks like I just did, that's the best way of... This is the best approach, I think, because you come on the outside, you can look and see if anybody's over here from any of the spawns, and you can also look at all the windows, because people like to peek out them bitches. I also like to keep my eyes on this general area. Sometimes campers like to hide in there and kill you, and also over here by these bushes. So when you're coming in, I like to run alongside the wall. That way, anybody that's on these balconies, if you're running this way, they can peek the balconies and they can shoot and kill you. But if you're running alongside the wall and you're listening in if anybody's in there and he hears you, you can at least come wide and you can at least peek out and look for him. Alright, so when I first come into the resort, I typically go straight up the stairs. I usually never look this way for people. I come straight up the stairs and I typically come straight into here. I always check for a key spawn there. I don't check down that way because nobody should be down that hall yet from the other side. So you're always focused in this area and the stairs. When you come around this corner, you're focused on pretty much the left side. Your real main focus is going to be the left side of the hallway. You're rarely going to find people on the right side that early in the raid, like, camping you. It doesn't happen often, so it's something that I don't really care for. First room and the most important key on the east wing is room 222, in my opinion. Or, if you want to say room 226, I don't want people to get technical on me. Either one is perfectly fine. When you come into this room, you'll often find Tetrises, things like this G-Phone right here, this golden G-Phone. You can find graphics cards, power supplies, some extra things there. Definitely grab nades. Sometimes there's stims on here. I usually leave the weapons racks alone. The amount of spawning good items on those things is just, you're just wasting your time. Usually your LEDX is sitting right here. There's always med supplies in here. If you're a high level, like level 40 with good search, sometimes it's good to fill your bags trying to loot these, but if you're just going for lead X's, avoid looting these. You're just eating up all your time in raid doing that. So, oh, I forgot. There also, this box here spawns bitcoins and pro kill medallions. Then from there, I immediately come up the stairs, and I know that there's other things to loot, but I try to loot areas where I feel like I get the most success and the most money. So I usually come over here and I check for a gold coin, or not a gold coin, a gold chain. I usually don't loot this body anymore. It doesn't seem to spawn like high-end loot anymore like it used to back in the day. See, I leave things like that alone. It leaves you exposed to a lot of different areas that you don't want to be exposed to. I immediately come up to 314. It spawns sometimes decent attachments here. And it can, I believe it can spawn a LEDX on this, but I usually find my LEDX on this cardboard right here, right where I'm looking, right where the flashlight's at. It's got a bag and another weapons case inside that room. Then I'll come through here. Oftentimes, this door right here is a good one to slow peek out of. People like to camp. They like to camp this area. They like to camp that hallway. They also like to camp this stair set right here. This room here is not a necessity, but I've been finding a lot of like Christmas balls and like you find like gold rings and see you find like Christmas balls. Sometimes there'll be a gold ring on this table right here, and it'll be like inside the table, so you have to look for a little gold speck sticking out of the table. Other than that, you can loot these bags. It's not a terrible room. The key will pay for itself. Like I said, when I come around this corner, I like to definitely pay attention to these areas. And this area here. Always check your key spawn. Room 306, if you're debating on getting this key, I'll tell you right now and I'll vouch for it, it's not even worth it anymore. This room doesn't spawn graphics cards like it used to, and it doesn't spawn USBs like it used to. The only thing this room actually spawns that's important is gold chains on the bed and gold chains in this right here. As far as this side of the room goes, really the only important thing I ever find is money on the desk or like mayonnaise. And I will say I've ran probably at least 500 Shoreline runs now, so I do kind of have a good idea of what you're going to get on the map. So that's my first pathing line, and that's how I take that, and then I come back down, and I typically check to see if anybody's across yet while I'm looting this room right here, 205. That's East Wing 205. Inside this room, there's oftentimes some good gear in here, pro kill medallions, things like that. There's always a drink on the floor. I've had very few raids where there isn't drinks on the floor. And then when you come in here, sometimes there's a med kit here, and there's always 3 little things to loot here if you're just trying to fill your bags. So this room pays for itself. Then I come back and I retrace my steps. At that moment, I can choose to go across, or I can come back and I can retrace my steps and I can loot a couple more areas. So the first area that you can loot is 220, I went past it, 218. 218, and there's blood all over the floor and on the bed. You come through here, there's a red key card spawn up here. In this area right here, red key card spawn, look around for it. And then, last but not least, I drop down. And you run straight to 107. That's East Wing as well. This room does spawn lead X's. It's pretty rare spawn, but they spawn right here. Right where this bandage is at, or up here. And you can oftentimes find things right here, like keys and stuff on the tables. and money right here on this thing, and also keys on this table. So that's West Wing, guys. That's kind of a brief summary of everything I like to loot on the West Wing. On the East Wing, I apologize. I don't know why I said West Wing. Alright. Now, I like to keep my stamina completely full when you're messing with this area. It's probably the most dangerous part if you're going to try to loot the rest of the resort or the other wing. If you're trying to loot West Wing, you want your stamina to be full, and you definitely want to be paying attention when you're running across to these areas here. Like, you just keep your eyes peeled. I mean, people love to camp that angle. This room 205 is the first one I hit, and I'll explain why I like to hit this room. I like to come in here. It usually just has a lot of med supplies, and same with the room next to it. It usually just has med supplies here, sometimes a gun here. But I like to loot this room because I like to stop. I like to press tab and grab my drinks and my food, and I like to actually stop and listen on this wing. I'll come stand right here at this door, and I will sit here and I will drink food, or I'll drink and eat food, and I will just listen to see where people are at, or if people are camping, or what they're doing. This map, a lot of this map is not even about, it's not even about running around and looting. It's just about listening and knowing where people are at. I guess that's probably about how every map is, though. So when I come across this, if I come from across here, the first place I go is straight up. I go straight up, I look left, I look down this hallway right down there. I keep my focus on this whole entire area, in these gaps, and right here. It's where people are going to be camping. They like to stand here, and they like to stand and lay down right here and do some weird stuff to you. They love them angles. Pay attention to that. Room 301, probably the second most important key, if not the first most important key on the West Wing. You're going to find your lead X's sitting right here. You're going to find things inside the rug as well. You have to pay attention and go back and forth. You'll find hidden things in there. Sometimes graphics cards, things like that. Your next lead X spawn can be here on the bed. I've seen them here, and I've also seen them here. These computers are really good for looting. I tend to find more graphics cards in those computers than other places right now, except from over here. Over here has all the good graphics cards areas. Or spawns. Coming back down this hall, I love to go into room 306. It's a cheap key. You can get... Sometimes you can get a hit or miss, like... decent gold chain, or there's sometimes decent, like, food. There's a lot of decent food in here. And this is another one of those rooms that I have the key for because I like to sit... And I like to eat food and listen. I like to listen to hear if anybody's below me, if anybody's around me, or they're coming up to kill me, because that room over there is a very important one, and people like to play these angles and hold you in here. So from this point, I drop down, I check to see if someone's coming across, I flip back around, and I run straight down the hall. Now, if you're going big or going home, you can immediately run to room 218. It's probably the most important room on this wing. The main reason why is because it has the largest spawn of red key cards to my knowledge. It spawns right here on this barrel. Now, a lot of people don't loot the ammo. I'll tell you right now, if you get a 120 box of anything BT or M99 or anything, that 120 box is 120k for 2 slots. A lot of people don't realize that. Each bullet sells for 1,000. I like to check these weapon racks in this room because typically there is a sniper spawn in them. There's also a gun spawn on this box that I know of that spawns RSASs and VSSs. Also, M4s spawn out here where my light's at. Coming into this room, there's oftentimes good stims or healing right here or up here. I typically don't loot this, and for some reason, I love to come into this room, grab money off here, and loot this bag. I have found more paracords and graphics cards in this bag right here for some reason, more than any other bag in the game. So, leaving that room, you definitely can go low and check your left angle first to see if somebody's here. And then you can check your right angle to see if somebody's there. But I like to go straight into 206. Super good room. You will find graphics cards, Tetris, and all other kinds of things here and spread across the ground. Sometimes they're in the ground. You'll find them. Also, you'll find whiskey here a lot and 2 nade things. A lot of meds up here. A lot of golden star. A lot of good meds there. Going straight next door, you'll find the same thing. Meds and Golden Star on the left-hand side. Up here on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side in here. And this weapons rack spawns a sniper rifle as well quite often. Your next room, 220. It's a pretty nice room. Oftentimes you find decent meds up here, as you can tell. And you can find weapons inside these quite often. A little bit of money. This room doesn't have anything else too crazy. You will find Bitcoin and GP coins right here, though. So that is pretty much West Wing and how I run that. I am going to, at this point, you can pretty much shut the video off because those are all the important rooms. Another thing I will say is you can always be like, room 227 has something to loot, and I'll explain why I don't loot rooms like this. Like, this room, if I came in here to loot this, it exposes me to the stairs. I don't think this is worth this. So that's why I don't add these on my pathing line, you know? Just wanted to point that out. Also, you can come up to here. You can loot that one. It's a pretty good one. Weapon rack. And there's a safe in this room that oftentimes I will loot if my bags aren't filled and I just know nobody's at the resort. The reason why I don't like coming up to this third floor on this wing, in particular on this side, is because you're stranded. You can't get out over here and you get stuck. And if people know you're up here, they like to hold angles on you. They like to sit over here and they like to sit on these stairs and they like to go into this room and they like to go into here and they like to just sit and they like to hold angles and kill you. So I stay away from up there most of the time. The one room I do know, I can't really vouch for it because I don't get anything in there, but a lot of people have keys to it, is room 112. I think there's some kind of a key spawn or something in this room. I'm not 100% sure, but this room apparently isn't too bad. The key pays for itself. I think there's a key spawn on this table or something, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's on this, or it's... Just look around this room. It's one thing I haven't found any good loot in yet, so I can't vouch for it. The last thing I needed to point out is... Let me get my bearings here. I'm back over this way. This stair set right here, if you're looking out and you see the gym, the court, you go down here into the basement. It's an optional place to go to. You can get a red keycard spawn right here on this. Other than that, guys, that's how you run East and West Wing. Those are all the good rooms, in my opinion. There's a few other areas, like right here is a good area to go in because there's oftentimes batteries, propane tanks, filters, things in this little closet that you don't need a key for. And for a bonus, since the video is not incredibly long, I guess I could probably head over to the other wing and show you a couple key things over there if you manage to make your way over there. So this wing, I try to avoid this wing because it just doesn't have top-notch gear for people that camp over here and scavs that get in your way and you name it. But if you come back here, this gym bag, you've got this safe that spawns good stuff, and these filing cabinets. For some reason, this group of filing cabinets right here spawn more Blue Labs key cards than anywhere I've ever seen. This one doesn't really spawn them. It seems to really be these ones. Coming into this room right here, I don't know if this is true and I can't vouch for it anymore, but there used to be a key spawn on this pool table that you'd need to look for. I think they may have moved the key spawn into this area right here. I think it's here now, if I'm not mistaken. Coming into this room here, there is oftentimes, well, not often, but there is a key spawn on these chairs. One of these chairs, I believe it's this one, and maybe one of these chairs. I can't vouch for that, but I know there's a key spawn on them chairs in that room. All of these computers are golden. I find so many graphics cards when I'm hitting up these computers. I hit up that one. I hit up this one. There's this one. There's more in these rooms here. There's a key spawn on this desk here. There's computers in these rooms, I want to say. This room here, there's a key spawn on the desk. There's a safe, and there's also a computer, hidden, a little bit hidden, Key spawn here, and computer here. So pay attention when you're doing your raids. You can find a lot of good stuff. It's pretty crazy. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, this ambulance right here can spawn a Blue Labs keycard. Right there. So guys, if I missed anything, feel free to comment. I know, you know, there's going to be people out there arguing what I'm doing and what I'm saying. They're going to say they have better pathings. They're going to say they have this. This is just the way I do it. I typically make $7 million a day just at Shoreline if I don't even get lead X's. If I get lead X's, I make $10 million a day. And I don't even really do that many runs. I probably do less than 20 runs. So I average maybe 200 to 500K a run. That's without getting a lead X. If I get a lead X and factor that in, it'd be a whole different story. I can't tell you how much I make. But that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Just try what I do and tell me how it works for you. I will ask you, please don't be that scav runner that, or that you could be the scav runner, sorry. Please don't be the hatchet runner. I think hatchet running ruins the game. At least going with medium gear and a good backpack. Like, have fun on the game. Don't be that person that just needs to run around and take everybody's gear because you're scared of dying. Like, don't have gear fear. Play the game and have fun. The only other thing I can say is there's a spawn over that way at the swamp. There's also a spawn at the houses. There's a spawn at tunnel. So those are all your spawns, and then you got your God spawn right there. So I pretty much pointed out every spawn and every way to go about your pathing. If you were to come in on this wing this way like I'm doing right now from the mother spawns, I typically go straight to the second floor and I start looting these rooms first. I usually hit up in order 218, 216. I hit these two, then I run upstairs to the lead X room, hit the hallway room, and then go to the other side of the resort. I typically don't go to this side's third floor, and I typically don't go to this side's first floor. But like I showed you earlier in the video, you will see alternative routes where you can go do that. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Appreciate you. Have a good day.